I would like to tell you just about a couple of events that are happening at Spiritual Life Center. And that would be, I think I just want to point your attention to this flyer, which is available on the table back there with Jeannie. And this is a little flyer, really beautiful flyer that we made that you can stick up on your refrigerator or somewhere. And it's got our 5th Wednesday programs for the year. 3 of them left. The first one coming up on May 29th with Matt Venuti, who plays the hung drums and all the beautiful pan arts instruments. So that'll be coming up on the 29th of May. So grab one of these, take one home, and put those on your calendar. And I think that's it. So here.
Give me that microphone, Paula. Tonight is going to be very quiet, meditative experience, and so in order not to break that energy, we'd like to take the love offering now, and I'll be back afterwards, my speech therapy. So as we move into the love offering time, we know that as we give, we receive, and we keep that circulation and that circle of love going, and it just reaps more and more benefits for everyone. So let's take our love offering in our hands, maybe even hold them to our hearts, and let's do our blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God. Oh, the healing circle. The chaplains have the healing circle next door right after this service. And please silence your cell phones. I believe most of you have at least heard of our guest tonight. Gail Derin is a licensed Unity teacher. She's a religious science and interfaith minister. She teaches classes. She speaks in the greater Sacramento area. And she is also a doctor of Oriental medicine. Medicine, there we go. Gail Vinson has been a meditation teacher for over 25 years. She has served as an intern lay minister at the Unity Church of Denton, Texas, and has also enjoyed being a hospice volunteer for many years. The two Gails, or as Paula calls them, the GGs, have led many successful silent retreats together over the last 10 years and have presented their night of poetry and music several times over the past 3 or 4 years. And this is at least their 4th time here. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gail and Gail.
It's impossible, said pride.
It's risky, said experience.
It's pointless, said reason.
Give it a try, said the heart.
Can you imagine what it would be like to experience life from a spacious perspective, where we make room for whatever life brings to us, without barriers or defenses or resistance? We'd see that everything adds to the richness of life.
I stood and watched the silkworm one day, and that night, my heart said to me, I can do things like that. I can spin skies. I can be woven into love that can bring warmth to people. I can be soft against a crying face. I can be wings that lift, and I can travel on my 1,000 feet throughout the earth with my sacks filled with sacredness. And I replied to my heart, Dear, can you really do all those things? My heart just nodded, yes, in silence.
So tonight we're going to explore the possibility of what it's like to actually live undefended, an undefended heart, even in the most difficult situations that we're facing. For centuries, spiritual traditions have pointed to the heart as a gateway to love, to truth, to peace. And they found that it really is easier to awaken through the heart than anything else. When we're open-hearted, we're available. And it's our natural state of being. Children are really actually a very good example of this, living open-heartedly, as we know. This wisdom, we're going to discover, as you already have, that it's beyond logic. It's a place where inner knowing and intuition come to play. So how many, as we're speaking about the heart, how many of you have heard about heart math? Okay. Well, their studies have shown that really our thinking doesn't take place right here, that our thinking actually can be measured in this field outside of us. But did you know that the heart's field is actually so much more potent than the mind? And the studies are finding that our heart intelligence is actually 100 times more intelligent than this. So the question I have is, why do we keep giving our mind, which is not quite as intelligent, center stage for all our attention?
The mind will dazzle us with words and concepts that are new and exciting, but they'll only take us so far. And they certainly won't open the heart. The mind and the heart perceive life in totally different ways. The mind tends to live in the past or the future. It forms conclusions to protect itself, whereas the heart only knows the present moment. It's not aware of being separate or needing protection of any kind.
From a very young age, we've been conditioned to listen to our minds. We're actually even devoted to it, believing everything it tells us, right? And we don't question it. When we struggle, it's really helpful to know where our mind actually takes us. While the heart is actually capable of accepting the unknown, the mind never gives space for wisdom to emerge. And it quickly wants to just fill in the blanks and create stories. And it's because the mind is terrified of uncertainty. It thinks it knows what's best, and it's happy to tell you about it, right?
But it's important to mention tonight that the mind is not the enemy. It has many beneficial uses. It wants to protect us from toxic people, from dangerous situations, and it's good at that. But it gets hyper-vigilant, and it limits our freedom when it tries to shield us from anything that it doesn't understand. So in our fear and our struggle to feel safe, we have learned over the years that it's easier just to keep our hearts closed. Rilke, the poet, says, "I circle around you, God. I want to mirror your immensity, never too weak or too whole or too old to hold the image of you. So let me unfold. Let no place in me hold itself closed. For where I am closed, I am not real."
What also shuts our hearts down is the trap of comparison. We've been taught our whole lives to be special or unique or to stand out, or we may be taught that we're not worthy. I know being raised as a Catholic, it was always mea culpa, mea culpa. Lord, I am not worthy. Let me speak the word and I will be healed. But they never talked about the healing and the word part. It was always about the suffering part or the unworthy part. So when we compare for whatever reason, we end up feeling lonely and isolated, separate.
That's a big one for me, comparison. Sometimes in my own self, I have inspiration, I'm creative, and when I stand in front of someone else and watch them, I often pull back and feel like, well, maybe I start to doubt myself. Maybe that's really how I need to be. So I really like it that the Buddha said it was one of the last attachments to go.
Yeah, it says that. It says let go of that too.
Yeah.
Because when we do that, when we do have those attachments in comparison, we close down and the cost is great. It's easy then to become rigid or even comfortably numb. And then we don't stop to see the beauty around us, or we don't feel worthy to receive all the bounty that life's giving us.
When you closed your heart in response to the pain, it took hold of you, leaving you raw and fragile. When did all of this change? When did you start to feel so heavy, weighed down by it all? So lost in seriousness, scared for your life, scared for the world. When did you start seeing more problems than solutions? When did the shine vanish, rubbed off by years of experience? You lost your joy, your carefree way. Your innocence has dissolved into this. When was it that you picked up those heavy bags full of woes and troubles and fears? When?
flow when flesh and steel are one, drying in the color of the evening sun. Tomorrow's rain wash the stain away, but something in our mind will always stay. Perhaps final act was meant to clinch a lifetime's argument, that nothing comes from violence, nothing ever could, for all those born beneath an angry star. Lest we forget how fragile we are. On and on the rain will fall, like tears from a star, like tears from a star. On and on the rain will shake how fragile we are, how fragile we are. On and on the rain will fall, like tears from a star, like tears from a star. On and on the rain will shake how fragile we are, how fragile we are, how fragile we are, how fragile we are.
Your heart may seem fragile, but it's really indestructible. A voice inside says, I know you're tired, but the pain you feel are messengers. Listen to them and come. This is the way. Your stories are fragile, but your heart is not. It holds everything. Rumi.
Nothing will change if you believe your suffering is more important than what change has to offer you. So do you need a prod? Do you need a little darkness to get you going? What enables us to keep evolving is when hurt happens more and you hang on rather than let go. Mary Oliver.
I know the way you get when you haven't had a drink of love. Your face hardens, your muscles cramp. Children become concerned about the strange look that appears in your eyes. And it even begins to worry your own mirror. Squirrels and birds sense your madness and call an important conference in a tall tree. They decide which secret code to chant that will help you. Even angels fear that brand of madness, the ones that throw stones and spears at your innocence. Oh, I know the way you get when you haven't been drinking love. In your darkness, you pull out a ruler to measure from every angle the dimensions of the heart you once trusted. I know the way you can get. This is why all the great ones speak of the need to open and to remember that God only wants to help you. Hafiz.
It is possible for a broken heart to live undefended and be led to safety. Here we find the space to breathe. Our hearts are really more resilient than we can imagine. When you've had enough of the vicissitudes of life, come here. When you've been broken one too many times and you're exhausted and ready to let go, come here. When all your searching has led you to a closed door, come here. When you're beaten, broken, bombarded, bored, ready to give up the fight, come back here. That's what it does here. It allows us to sit in the brokenness and discover that which is not broken. We don't fix you or heal you. We don't deny you or create a faith. We don't overcome the problem. We open to the whole thing. We open so wide, we become the space in which everything happens. Kavi.
Gail and I have a teacher. He's in his 30s. His name is Ross, and he's actually quite an enlightened being. And when my mom was dying, he gave me some really important advice. He said, whatever you do, don't distract yourself. Now, I'm a doctor of Oriental medicine. I'm a fixer. I'm wanting to actually, do things. And this happened to be a time weeks before my mom died, and she died a pretty awful death. And at this moment, what was happening is she was screaming for her mother. And I wanted to do something. And I remembered what he said. Don't distract yourself. And so in that moment, I just stayed with her. And allowed all these raw, vulnerable, dark, fearful emotions to just pass through me. And nothing shifted, it seemed, on the outer. She didn't stop screaming. However, in that moment, she felt met. And it was like presence met itself. The greatest gift we could have given each other.
An open heart can illuminate the darkest of places. Love will challenge you. It demands truth and vulnerability. Love asks nothing less than annihilation of what is not true. Without the defense, though, we intuitively just want to love.
Ruby says, learn the alchemy of what true human beings know. The moment you accept what troubles have been given, the door will open. Welcome difficulty as a familiar comrade. Joke with torment brought by the friend. Sorrows are the rags of old clothes and jackets that serve to cover, but are then taken off. In that undressing, we find the sweetness that lies underneath.
It's so paradoxical that what brings up fear in us can offer us the greatest freedom. It's a risk to have an undefended heart. Mark Nepo calls it an exquisite risk. Where we feel squeezed in our lives is exactly the place we need to embrace. It can be scary. We're being asked to be wide open and undefended.
And the heart whispers, give it a try.
Ancient texts tell us that the deepest secrets lie in the inner heart. It's here that we have direct connection with God. It's here where we can most easily perceive our union.
From the Bhagavad Gita, it says, I am the goal, the root, the witness, home, and refuge, your dearest friend. I am creation and annihilation, everlasting seed and treasure. All your thoughts, fears, and disappointments, offer them to me, open-hearted, and then you will know them all as passing visions. I am always with all beings. I abandon no one. Even in your inner darkness, you are never separate from me. Let your thoughts flow past you calmly. Keep me near. At every moment, trust me with your life, because I am you even more than you are yourself.
Remembering this allows us to trust, allows us to open so we can find refuge in the heart. The heart is home. It's the ground that we return to and rest. It's the place where we can find solace. It's the place where we can trust in our own goodness. As you relax and breathe into your heart, it becomes an anchor which grounds you in the truth.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I see the smallest things. I feel the rawest things. I'd like to open my heart and give myself to you. The perfect summer's day, saw how I lost my way. All of the secrets deep in rooms hidden from view. All of the lies I saw then thought they were the truth. I see I was wrong. Now I open my eyes and I see the love that's there. Open my heart and I feel you resting there. Open my mind, give me something I can share. Open my love, let it shine on all despair. Teach me to be a child, walk me the ways of the wild. Give me a dream of dreaming, crystal blue and gold. Give me a seeker's wings, tell me the soul of all things. Give me an open heart and watch the sky unfold. Every illusion I would gladly give away if you would just open my eyes and we see you standing there. Open my heart and we feel you resting there. Open my mind, give me something I can share. Open my love, let it shine, let it shine. Open my eyes, open my eyes. Open my heart, open my heart. Open my mind, open my mind. Open my love. I open my heart. I open my heart. I'm open, I'm open. I open my heart.
In trusting the heart, you will come to know that if you fall, you will be held. If you let go, things will be okay. If you don't know, you will be guided. And if you don't manipulate, you will be taken care of in a way that's appropriate for you. Patricia Albert.
So how do you encourage your mind to open and surrender to the heart? We can ask our bodies to help us in this endeavor. The first time I ever knew that my body could lead me to open my heart was many years ago when our son, who was 23 at the time, woke up one day and his stomach had become paralyzed. We didn't know why. At that point, we didn't even know what it was. But over the next 6 months, he went from close to 200 pounds to 130. He was hospitalized. They were going to put a tube in his intestines to try to get nutrition that way. But that didn't work either. So instead of gaining weight as we had hoped when he was in the hospital, he continued to lose weight. I was mom, and I was powerless. The whole experience caused me, little by little, and I think this is how our heart closes. Sometimes it can close overnight. Sometimes there's something that happens that you just say, I'm done. But this was, little by little, increment by increment, my heart was closing. And one night I came home from the hospital when they told us that he really they were trying to find a way to get nutrition in him, and he had a failure to thrive. And I went outside. I just needed to be outside. I went outside on the back deck, and something just opened my arms like this. And it was the most revealing thing. It was, unknowingly, I opened my heart. I left it unprotected and open. And I got such relief from that. From that time, I've learned what secrets the body has and how it can really it can lead you to safety if you'll allow it. A Buddhist nun from the 1500s said, "I meet this life with my whole body." From it, you can be guided to the undefended heart.
Kabir says, "Be strong and enter your body. There you have a solid place for your feet. Don't go off somewhere else. Throw away all thoughts of imaginary things and stand firm in that which you are. Let your body speak openly now, without you saying a word, like a student walking behind a teacher that says, 'This one knows more clearly the way than I.'"
It's true that energetically, others feel what's going on inside us. Sometimes we think we can hide, but those who are open and can feel energy absolutely can tell what's happening. Unfortunately now, as a nation, as the world as a whole, it appears to me that we've begun to close our hearts to each other. And in that shutting down, we tend to become cynical and hardened. But when our hearts are open, our presence uplifts and inspires, and we have a grace that we naturally exude. And we tend to be a blessing to those around us without saying a word. Nothing, in my opinion, can be more freeing than knowing how to open your heart and allowing that love to shine out on everything.
There is a quiet light that shines in every heart. It doesn't draw attention to itself, though it's always there. Learn how to listen, to live from this deepest truth, and you will have found unity with love itself. John O'Donohue.
So if you're brave enough, let love lead the way home. Words are really not necessary. So we ask again, how do we open the heart? Step 1, listen. A part of being undefended is listening from an open heart, not with the mind, listening from the heart. It's a deeper kind of listening. It's not like listening to words. It's sensing into what's happening. Many of us are afraid of silence. But really, silence is just loving awareness. And it's always here, always in the room with us, always inside us, never away from us. And this awareness has its own kind of presence. It's quiet, open, innocent, and wise.
Only as a child am I awake and able to trust. After that, every fear and every night, I will behold you again. However often I get lost, however far my thinking strays, I know you will be here, right here. Time trembling around you in the center of me. I thank you, deep power, that moves me ever so lightly in ways I can't quite make out. Rilke.
Truth is known, but it doesn't insist.
So what does does Spirit want from us? It wants our attention, our heart. It guides us to find the strength and the quiet that lives inside. And it is our timeless dimension of being.
So in the spirit of listening, I'd like you all to close your eyes with us. And settle into your chair. The highest prayer is silence. So we make time to be in the stillness. Meditation is a deep listening to the open spaces inside. Notice that which is between the words, thoughts, and sensations. Between these, there's room. It's a spaciousness. As you deepen your breath, just bring your shoulders back and lift your chest to bare your heart, to open your heart. Let your body help. And see if you can direct your breath in and through your heart. Each time you take a breath, feel it sweeping your heart open, creating space. It brings such relief to the noisy mind when we listen from our heart. Our hearts know that the invisible lives inside the visible. Sense the invisible presence of Spirit that we're held by. It's there at every instant, even when we don't think it is. If we try too hard to understand with our minds, we miss it. In stillness, there's nothing to assert, nothing to deny, nothing to grasp or hold on to. Just loving awareness.
Listen from what's inside of you. What's behind all the comings and goings of your life? Is that intangible presence that we cannot grasp, yet never lose. In the quiet inside you, there is the strength of Spirit. And a great love flows from you to to all things. You are that in which even silence is heard. And that transmission is the silence. There's so much room in the loving heart. Feel it. In this place, the heart doesn't know about getting rid of anything. It just embraces. It makes room for all thoughts, joys, and sadness. Everything wants to be included in our hearts, to be held right now. Even resistance, even peace. So what happens to the mind when there are no more questions, when there are no more reaching out? What we have is only to just rest in the heart, in the silence. In this vast spaciousness, we know that in you we are continually reminded that abiding in our open hearts, filled with your presence, is the best gift we can give to the world. Amen.
Amen. In an open heart, fear has no place to anchor. It has no foundation. Some of the most profound shifts happen in the silent places in the heart. These silent interludes reveal the ultimate gift of falling in love with God while God is falling in love with you. You can only heal a broken heart through allowing it to open again, because a closed heart remains a wounded heart. Many battles may be lost, but you're not broken, and you're not your wounds. What the heart loves is the cure.
Come back to your heart that's patiently waiting. It's beyond the harm of the world. It needs our affectionate presence to bring forth what is so easily forgotten by others.
Rebecca Campbell says, I believe your tragedies, your losses, your sorrows, your hurts happen for you, not to you. And I bless the things that broke you down and cracked you open, because the world needs you open.
My heart's been torn wide open, just like I feared it would be. And I have no willpower to close it back up.
Real freedom is open-hearted, open-bodied, and fully aware, fully alive. As Rumi reminds us, half-heartedness doesn't reach into majesty. The world now is asking us to become a greater vessel for the flow of life. Those of us who know and understand, we're being asked to open wider, to allow this incredible flow of life through us. So take chances. Live with an open heart. See what happens. We have the infinite power of change within us.
I wanna live in the world, not inside my head. I wanna live in the world. I wanna stand and be counted with the hopeful and the willing, with the open and the strong, with the voices in the darkness, fashioning daylight out of song, and the millions of lovers alive in the world. I wanna live in the world, not behind some wall. I wanna live in the world. Well, I will hear if another voice should call of the prisoner inside me, to the captive of my doubt, who among her fantasies harbors the dream of breaking out and taking her chances alive in the world. To open my eyes and wake up alive in the world. To open my eyes, fully arrive in the world, with its beauty and its cruelty, with its heartbreak and its joy, with it constantly giving birth to life and to forces that destroy, and the infinite power of change alive in the world. To open my eyes, wake up alive in the world. To open my eyes, fully arrive in the world. To open my eyes, wake up alive in the world. To open my eyes.
So, in conclusion, your task, should you choose to accept it from your heart, is to know that your open heart is the greatest gift that you can give to the world. So in knowing that, I just invite you to just turn to the person to the left and right of you and just nod with that open heart. Thank you.
We appreciate so much that you guys come out and hear us and listen to the poetry and listen to this amazing music that these two always bring for our evenings. It would definitely not even come close without them. So thank you, Paula. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Cameron in the back. Thank you for giving us a voice. My husband, Ed, used to run sound for another church, and he said, as long as people can hear you, nobody notices the sound man. The minute the sound goes off, everyone's eyes are on him. And we know that's true. So thank you, Cameron, very much. We appreciate you. We love you. We bless you. Thank you.